Like, let's talk more about traveling and changes in traveling. What's the best way to travel
Okay.
around your country?
Okay, my country, which, as I said before, is Italy, is pretty. Is a country which has a lot of means of transport, and it's pretty easy to travel in any way from north to south of Italy. So, on my opinion, the most convenient and fast way to travel in my country is by train, because Italy is provides an efficient train service, and so you can travel at a fast speed, and yeah, good quality travel. But I think also car is enjoyable because you can see maybe better the coast, and you can just enjoy a little bit the environment, and so on. But the main one, I think, it's train.
Okay, now let's talk about, could you compare how people travel today with how they used to travel 50 years ago?
Yes, for sure. 50 years ago, which is in 1970s, um, for sure, many changes are involved in this period, in these 50 years. So many people didn't have the possibility to use cars. Maybe they couldn't afford to have one car, so they didn't they couldn't pay for an airplane, and so many people didn't just travel at all. And so the main mean of transport, I think, was car in this period, but was a mean of transport less used than now.
Okay,
And
what are the some
yeah.
advantages and disadvantages of being able to travel around the world so easily now? We're traveling around the world easily. What's
Yeah.
the pros and cons?
um when people, I think, are allowed and can travel faster and in an easy way, I think the advantage is that they can just enjoy the world and see more places, and so open their minds to new cultures. Probably this is the big advantage, because they can mix with other cultures, and so this is the reason why globalization actually exists. And moreover, I think that they can experiment new jobs, for example, and even jobs which make you in contact with other languages, and
Okay.
so
Do you feel that the globalization of big businesses is a good or bad thing for the world?
um, the globalization of businesses, I think it's um, a good, for some aspects, a good thing, because it gives a lot of work to many people, because businesses which are big involve many workers, and moreover, they can provide many different products to many countries which otherwise they couldn't afford to have these products. And but it's another um, on the other end, it's also a disadvantage, because these big businesses just don't give the opportunity to the smallest one to just exist. And so with the advent of big businesses, these small businesses just will disappear with the time. And other disadvantage is that with big businesses which provide a lot of goods, need to transport these goods around the world, and with the transport, a lot of
Okay.
pollution comes.
Okay. Now let's talk about flying. So, how often do you travel by plane?
Um, I travel by plane more or less twice a year, and I would like to travel even more by plane because I enjoy a lot. It's my favorite mean of transport. But yes, probably twice a year for holiday reasons.
Okay, thank you. So let's move on to next question. Do you think flying is just justified when you take into account how much pollution it produces?
Um, I am not well informed about the amount of pollution that flights provide, but I think it is justified because it's the only way of transport which can take you on the other actually on the other side of the world in a relatively short amount of time. But I also think that in comparison to cars and trains and other means of transport, this is airplanes are actually not the most um, the one that provides more pollution about in between
Okay.
all
So could
among
you
all of
compare
them.
traveling by plane and traveling by train? So how would you compare traveling by plane and traveling by train?
Mm. Traveling by train is for sure enjoyable, but I think traveling by airplane gives you the opportunity to be even faster and reach other countries in an easy way. It is also true that when you have to travel by train, you can just bring your tickets and probably reach the station, which is usually more close to where you live, while airports are not well distributed. And so sometimes you have, for example, in my experience, in my case, to reach the closest airport, the airport that's closest to my hometown, I have to drive 2 hours. And so sometimes many people choose to travel by train because it's
Okay.
easier for them to
So
reach.
how do you think we'll replace flying when we run out of fossil fuels?
um, I think I read an article a few days ago about new sources, new ecological friendly sources, and so I think that they will develop a gas which is possible to use in different means of transport, from airplanes to cars, and which provide less pollution and which is renewable. So it is even better and gives us um, more. We are more secure that it doesn't just end.